Hey everyone, I am here today at Brodie's Cream and Bean in Silver Hill, Alabama. And I have the privilege today to talk to my friend Lisa Brodie, who is the founder of Maji Hope, a nonprofit organization that builds water wells in Africa. Lisa, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here with me.
I know in the past my students and I have had the opportunity to work with you, to hear your story, to hear from Maji Hope, and we really just want to take some time today to be able to share that story with even more people. So we're sitting here in this awesome shop that you have here, which I know we'll talk more about. But I want to really, to get us started, rewind a little bit to like 10, 15 years ago, before this place existed, before Maji Hope even existed. What was life like for Lisa Brodie 10 or 15 years ago?
So when I think back, it's such a crazy story. So I'm going to go back even further than that. So when I was a little girl, probably about 10 years old, there were some people from our church who had lived in Zambia, Africa for many, many years. They were missionaries. They had lived there, raised their children there, were getting close to retirement when, through some crazy circumstances, there were two different babies who were eventually adopted by them. And, I mean, picture them as grandparents. So these children, a boy and a girl, when this family retired, they moved back to the U.S., and the little girl from Zambia became one of my very best friends. Her name is Vivian. And that's the first time that I remember ever thinking, someday I want to go to Africa. Someday I'm going to go and see where my friend Vivian came from. And I just always had a heart for Africa. I can't even explain it. So fast forward until 2007, I finally got the opportunity to go with a group to Tanzania to do medical missions. And at the time, I didn't have any medical background or anything like that. Just a mom, just a teacher, nothing that would have made me qualified to go on a medical mission trip. So at that time, my husband and I had been married for several years. We had 5 kids, still do, 5 kids who were from the ages of 13 down to twins that were 3. And my husband said, when I told him that, I think I want to go on this trip, he said, okay, that's great. Have a good time. He didn't have any plan to go with me. So that summer I went. It was about probably 18 to 20 days. And I saw how women and young girls were walking to get water, and I saw where they were getting their water from, and I was just mortified. And so I came home, and I told my husband, I said, we've got to do something about this. So he was like, what do we do? I don't even know what to do. And I said, I don't know, but let's do something. So from that, it took us a little bit of time, but about 3 years later, we decided let's go ahead and start a nonprofit, and let's see what we can do.
So you went on this trip. So before this trip, clean water had not really been on your radar.
None. Like not even.
You didn't
there.
go thinking I'm going to explore this idea.
No.
You just went. So what was it? Because I feel like we all see problems, we see needs, and a lot of times we just keep going. What was it that kind of stopped you in your tracks and made you feel like I have to do something about this?
I remember the exact moment. I was sitting in. We kind of took over like a school to do this medical mission in. And it was lunchtime, and I was sitting with some doctors in this classroom that they had turned into a medical clinic. And I was asking them, what are you seeing? What kinds of things? And they told me about, somebody had been cut, had to do stitches, somebody had a snake bite, they were just telling me all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then this doctor, who actually just passed away this year, he said, but Lisa, do you know what the thing is that affects their health more than anything else? And I thought he was going to say like malaria or HIV. I thought it would be something like that. And he said lack of clean water. And I said, really? Well, where is this community getting their water from? And he told me about a little lake or a pond just down the road and said, there right now getting their water from the same place where they have to do laundry, where their animals are getting water from, where all the wild animals come to get their water. And he said, that's their water source for this area. And it just struck me like, I'm going to do something about that. I have to do something, because as a mom of 5 children, all I could see were these mamas who were just like me, and they were walking, and I thought, had I been born in this place, that's what I would be doing. And I just walked away from that trip thinking, I can't unsee this, and I can't go on with my life and not do something. And so I remember it so clearly.
So you came home
13 years
and said, we're going to figure out a plan. You didn't know how to do it right away, but we're going to figure it out, and we're going to actually do something. So you were in Tanzania. How widespread is this problem?
Oh, it's across the continent of Africa. Now, some places have better sources of water, but it's usually in the places where they have electricity. It's in the larger cities. But you go out into most any country in Africa, and you go out past the cities, and people just don't have access to it. And it's something that we don't think about, because we have such large quantities, especially here in the deep south. We have such large quantities of water. It rains all the time. We don't think about needing water until a hurricane comes. And then suddenly it's like, we need water.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is something, which a minor inconvenience for us during a hurricane. Right. It's every day.
Yes.
It's every day. So, when you hear an entire continent that being an issue and millions of people, I think a lot of times when we see those problems, it's real easy to get overwhelmed and to think, what can I do?
Right.
How do you not get overwhelmed? Like, what was it that made you think that you could actually do something in this really, what is a global crisis?
Well, our first thought was, we have no knowledge of how to do this. And, at first my husband thought I was nuts and wondered, what are we going to do? And I think his thinking was, we don't have any knowledge in how to fix this, so how can we help? So we searched and searched, trying to find an organization that already did what we felt like we were supposed to do, and could not find the exact thing. One thing that was very important to us was just the ability to take people with us and to have students be involved. We wanted high school and college age students to be able to participate not only in fundraising, but to be able to go and witness and see, what the fruit of their labor was. And we could not find, that just not many organizations will let you go or will let you take people with you, especially students. So we just decided, we can't make a difference in the whole continent, but perhaps we can make a difference just one village. Let's just look and we'll just be open to do it. If we can do 1, we'll do 1. If we can do 5, we'll do 5. If we can do 10, we'll do 10. And we just thought, we're just going to do it one step at a time.
So you were okay with that? You were okay with not being able to? I think a lot of times we hear change the world, and that sounds great, but that can seem very overwhelming.
Yes.
I think maybe it's Andy Stanley that says, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone.
Yes.
And that's kind of what you did. You knew that maybe you couldn't help the entire continent, but you knew that you could build one, and of course that's turned into more than one, but it starts with that one thing.
Right.
So you do the research, you decide you're going to start this organization. How does that even happen?
Well, at the time, so in 2007 was when I went the first time. I went back again in 2008, went back again in 2009. And it was after that third trip that I came home, and I just thought about it every day. And I thought, I have to do something. And so just continuing to do research, how does one drill? When I say I knew nothing, I literally knew nothing about how people got water. Like, I thought in my mind, you just drill, you get water every time, you put a hand pump on there, look, bam, it's done, we fixed it. That's not it. And I didn't know, even at the time, the importance of having community participation in it and how important that was. And, I feel like those first couple of years were just times of learning for us. And so I don't know. It's you just research, and you know, finding a drilling company that will work with you. At first, we had one that we thought was going to be the one forever, and then over time, we realized they're not matching up with our goals. They're either charging too much, or they're not faithful in what they say they're going to do. And it has ended up now that we have an amazing drilling organization that we work with that's actually from South Korea, and they're a nonprofit just like we are, and so we are a team. Like, we've worked together, and we are definitely a team.
So I love how you say that it didn't happen overnight. It was a process. You tried some things that didn't work. And I feel like sometimes when we have an idea, when it doesn't work immediately, when it doesn't work the first time, then we tend to think, well, this must not be for me. So what you know, you obviously persevered and kept with it. How did you do that? And I think also I love how you said, I just kept thinking about it. Mm-hmm. So how can we, well, let me ask you that first. Like, how did you not quit, I guess, in the process? And then I'll ask the other question.
Throughout the years, there have been times where I have been discouraged. Either money wasn't coming in through donations, or maybe something was going wrong. Like, we have had projects where we have drilled and not gotten to water. And, you know, that's hard when you're not there and they're drilling, and then they have to send you messages and say, we're sorry, you know, we didn't get to water on this one. We've drilled in 3 spots. We don't think it's going to happen. And you're heartbroken, you know, because you know that the people are there waiting for the water, and then you realize it's not going to happen. We have to change the plan. And so there have been times when I've been discouraged, but I think that the thing that keeps me going is I remember those mamas. Like, that's a big thing for me. I see those women in my mind. I have pictures, you know, all over the shop here of, you know, these people who I've met in different places, and I see them and I think about their walk. Some of them are walking, you know, they'll get up before the sun comes up and they'll walk all day long, and then they'll have to carry that bucket of water back home. So those are the things that keep me going. I just think about them, and I know how life-changing, once they get that gift of clean water, it is such a life-changing thing.
So when I love hearing you talk about this, because you light up, you're obviously passionate about it.
Yeah.
So how did you, I guess, give some advice maybe to a student watching, or an adult even. How do you find your thing? Like, this is obviously your thing.
It is.
It's not going to be everybody's thing, right? Hopefully, I mean, people can support it, but like, how do we know what our cause is? How do we know what our purpose is? Like, give us some tips on just how we can recognize. You know, I have a lot of students maybe who are even about to graduate, and they're thinking career, and they're thinking, what do I do with my life?
Well, I think we've all been given a passion of some sort. And so there's something that we all know that just, you feel this fire that lights up inside of you when you think about it or when you prepare for it. And for me, I didn't know it at the time when I was in 5th grade and about 10 years old. You know, I didn't know that was going to be the thing. But as I look back over my life, it kept coming to me again and again and again. And you know, for me, I think that the passion is there, and that if you just look for it, you know, you'll be able to find it and know for sure what it is.
So be on the lookout.
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome. And so you start building Maji Hope. You start looking for partners. I imagine it's not cheap to build a water well. No. So tell us kind of the funny, like, how much does it cost, and how do you do that?
Okay, so I'll start with what I do here in the U.S. So up until 2020 and the craziness of this year, I did what I already knew to do, which was talk to students, because, you know, I had taught 1st grade for years. My husband and I were in youth ministry for years. Talking to students was my thing. Like, I knew how to do that. So we started there first. So we would ask different schools where we knew the leadership there. We would say, hey, can, you know, I come and talk about Africa, you know, not just about the need for clean water, but just the things that I've learned from the African people. Can I come and share that with the students? And then will you partner with us, you know, through fundraising for these projects? Will you partner with us to do it? So schools would have us come. I would share, through video or whatever, and talking to them, share, and then give them the opportunity to buy a T-shirt, or some schools would sell bottles of water for 2 weeks while, after I had been there. And some schools did out of uniform days and would raise funds that way. Or I'd bring African items like we have here in the shop. Those were always, all the ways. Different schools chose different things. So on that end, it might take 2 or 3 schools to fund a project, but once the schools would let me come, the students were in. I never had to work to get them to want to be involved, because even down to kindergartners, you hear somebody doesn't have water and they're just like you and they want to do something about it. So, that part was never an issue.
Because students, I think sometimes students get a bad rap. But in my experience, students just, like, I know when you came and spoke to my class, they just jumped on board when they do have such a heart to help. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times they just don't know how. So when you provide an actual opportunity, whether it's buying a bottle of water, buying a T-shirt, they're all in.
They are, and they want to know what their money is going to. They want to know, like, one of the blessings from me speaking in schools is most of the schools will have me come back the following year. So when I come back the next year, I will bring video and photos of the exact people that they helped. It's not just some random organization who takes their money and they never see again, And I also think along with that, to be able to say that all of us are volunteers for Maji Hope, like, that also says something. I'm not asking you to donate money so I can have a big salary and drive a big car and live in a mansion. I'm asking you to donate, so that you can help people have clean water, and I'm just doing it as a volunteer, so that, I think that speaks volumes to people.
Absolutely. So you go into schools a lot.
Yes.
So if someone watching this or hearing this is a teacher or a principal, I can tell you firsthand, my students love Lisa, love Maji Hope. So you definitely want to get connected, because there are a lot of ways to get involved for schools. But then you even went beyond that. Went beyond schools.
Yes, so we have also partnered with churches. That's been another thing. A lot of local civic organizations will be involved from time to time. And, one of the things that we found with churches is a lot of churches, especially in this day and time, when finances are, iffy, sometimes, what we like to do is just say, give us one Sunday. Let us come into your church. Let us, share about what we do. And you just let your people give, And so when we do that, we set up all of these African items and let the people purchase. And then, it's not like a monthly commitment that goes on forever, or they have to, keep up. Oh, we're going to be giving $300 a month or $3,000 a month. It's easier to just say, sure, we'll give you one Sunday.
So just like with the schools, if you have a church, get in contact. Amazing. Yes. And now you have this amazing shop.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the shop.
So we've been in business a little over 3 years, and we started, my husband and I also always wanted to have an ice cream and coffee shop. And we thought, what better way, to help promote Maji Hope than to have an ice cream and coffee shop where people will come through and get their coffee and get their ice cream, and they can get, continual updates of what's going on. So we started this in 2017, and have really just enjoyed, having that thing that pulls people in. That gives people year-round ability to buy the items that we bring back from Africa, and many of them are items that women in those villages who need water projects, many of the items are from those villages. So I can say, oh, these things over here, this village made those, and people just enjoy hearing it. Absolutely.
So I just tell us a little bit about the story of the women making these items, because when you come in, it's really special just to know that you're not just building wells, but you're also helping women
Yes.
in those communities, even beyond the water
Yes.
projects.
So what we found right away that we needed a way other than just saying, can you donate or can you buy a T-shirt? We needed another way to raise funds. And so one of the things that we came up with was to have them make, some of the Christmas ornaments or bracelets or necklaces or baskets. And so we just started with a group of women who said, yeah, we'll be glad to do that. And over time, we've just found more and more people. Like, we have a lady who makes little headbands for us, and we have another person who does earrings and another person who does baskets. And so everybody wanted to join in, and it's just, they all know what it's for. The ones who don't live out in rural villages, some of them are women who live in town and actually have access to water, but they know what we do, and so they give us the biggest discount that they can. So we bring the items back and we sell them to do the water projects.
And they're beautiful. Let me just tell you, I'm sure the camera doesn't do justice, but they're beautiful items.
Mm-hmm.
Support a great cause. So how can people come and get these items?
So our little shop is in Silver Hill, Alabama. Tiny little place, but if you're on the way to the beach, we are 5 minutes off of 59 if you're on your way to Gulf Shores. So if you're coming down 59 and are going through Robertsdale, Alabama, we are on Highway 104. So our little shop is open Tuesday through Saturday, and we have a little bit of odd hours. We're open from 2 to 8:30 because we found that was when people here got coffee, and ice cream, and so anybody can come any of those times.
I stopped off the last time I went to the beach. I stopped off here and got ice cream on my way home. So it's a great little
Good
pit
for you,
stop for
especially
you Mobilians like me.
Coffee-loving person.
That's right. I broke Lisa's heart. I don't drink coffee, but I do love the ice cream. So I'm all for the ice cream.
It is good.
So from a leadership perspective, how are you running both the nonprofit and the business well? What are some tips that you have found help?
Well, one of the most important things, if not the most important thing that I've found for the ice cream shop is to have a very dependable staff, like responsible, dependable staff. And I was sharing with somebody the other day that we've been open for 3.5 years, and in 3.5 years, we have never had a staff member, and these are all high school students.
Okay.
So we have never had anybody call in and say, I'm not going to come. I can't come to work today. We've never had anybody not show up for work. Every single day that we've had somebody scheduled, there has been somebody here working.
Wow, that's impressive.
I know. And people are like, how did you do that? And, it's crazy. We're very selective about our people, and we talk to them for a really long time. And then we explain to them, we let them in on, the business side of this. And, Friday night, we just had a little meeting with our staff, and we told them, we said, 2020 has been a hard year. And just shared with them, here's where we are financially, and it's not good right now. We, as small businesses are struggling and nonprofits are struggling, we're like, this is really hard, and we just wanted to let them know. So one of the blessings about this responsible staff that we have, all of them are sold out on what we do as well. So all of them know about Maji Hope. Most of them, well, I would say a little less than half of them have been to Africa with us. They know what we do. They understand the importance of it. They're all very caring and compassionate. Most of them, if they haven't been to Africa with us, they've been out of the country. And so they've seen firsthand what developing countries, look like and the struggles that are faced. And so I think just having that compassionate staff for that is probably one of the best things that we've done. As far as Maji Hope and leadership, finding people who are, if we can get them to Africa one time, it's with them forever. And so for our board of directors, every person except one, and I'm still holding out hope for her, every person on our board of directors has been to Africa with us. They have all seen it. And so that's why they stay with us for a long time, is because they've seen it firsthand,
And I'm on your list because I'm going. I'm putting it out there.
Please.
That the day will come where I'm going to go on a trip with you for sure. Okay. That is really, I would love to do that. Yes. I would love to do that because I'm sure it does make just a difference.
It does.
So much. I love that you talked about how just candid you are with your staff, how transparent you are. And I think sometimes in leadership, we have this perception where leaders have to be perfect and we can only share the good stuff. Why is it important to you to be honest and transparent, even when the facts aren't fun to talk about?
We've kind of been that way with our children. And, rather than keep it inside and be stressed out about it, all alone, I feel like it almost helps us carry the weight by having all of them understand exactly where we are. And so for me, I just wanted them to know, just to be upfront. I like to be honest with my own kids about everything, and I want to be honest with our staff. I want them to know that we trust them, and I want them to trust us. And so, in doing so and encouraging them to do well and continue on as they have been, I feel like that honesty is I feel like it's important. I feel like it's crucial. And they know, that we'll tell them the truth.
And for students, like high school students or college students watching this, what are you as an employer looking for when they're thinking about to go and get a job, whether it's a summer job, it's a full-time job? What are you looking for as an employer?
I think responsibility, like being responsible, and respect for authority. Like, I'll give you an example. One day I came here, and one of our students had a friend here with her, and it was a busy time, so she had asked that friend to come behind the counter and help run the register. Well, that's just a no-no in our books. Nobody else is back there. Nobody else has been trained. We don't want, I want to trust my people, and I didn't know that person, from Adam's house cat.
Right.
As grandmas would say. So I immediately walked in, and I was shocked, and I looked at that person, and I said, oh, no. Out from behind there. That does not need to happen again. And then I didn't say anything else. And almost within 5 or 10 minutes, I got a text from our student saying, I am so sorry. That will never happen again. And I said, I understand. I know why you did it, and that's okay. I get it, but we can never have anybody back there. I said, we only choose the people that we trust. And we chose you and trust you. So anyway, I told her, I said, I trust you that it won't happen again. And so I think, being responsible, being trustworthy, showing up, just being there on time. We can see when our students get here, they get here 15 minutes early.
That's
and
awesome.
We praise them for that because it shows, hey, they want to make sure everything is done. They want to make sure everything is set up, and we just, having those students who are responsible, you can overlook, I made a little error in judgment, Right. I messed up and forgot to throw the trash out. You overlook that when you have these students who are responsible in every other way.
Right. You mentioned the challenges, obviously, of 2020 with COVID-19. How has that affected your business and the nonprofit?
Well, it has not been easy. This has been the first year that we haven't done a single water project. I went to Tanzania in January and February for language training, and we were there probably, 5 weeks. And, then COVID happened, and it was just, we had 7 projects planned for this year. So it has been difficult in every area. Difficult for our ice cream and coffee business to be shut down. Then even once things open back up, people were afraid to come back out. So that has definitely affected. Then you add in 2 hurricanes, loss of ice cream, from the hurricanes, lack of power afterwards, So it has been a hard year for us. Donations have been down for Maji Hope, like normal donations have been down. I had my first event. We do craft shows and take all of these African items to craft shows. Every event that we had was canceled. Every school that we had was canceled. The leadership event was canceled. All the things that were planned to fund these projects, it was gone. And so, I don't know. We have prayed a lot and really just sought to determine, do we need to try something different? do we, what are the next steps? So that's truthfully where we are.
Hey, I appreciate the candor and the honesty. So for people who may be listening or watching, what can we do to help? Like, first, where can we, if we want to even learn more about Maji Hope, where do we go? And then if we would like to support you guys, how can we do that?
So more information can be found on our website, which is Maji, Maji, which I don't guess we even talked about what Maji meant.
Yeah, definitely mention that.
So Maji means water in Swahili.
Okay.
So a lot of people look at it and think it's Magi. We're like, no, not Magi. It's Maji. So Majihope, hope.org is the website. And then, you can donate through there. Connections are a huge way people can help. So I always tell people, they think, oh, my church is small. We only have whatever. And I'm like, give us one day. Give us one Sunday. And, that's a huge way. Coming and shopping in our shop is another way. We always have students here who can share a little bit more information, about what we do. So those are all ways to help. We're constantly looking for more places to speak, but I know that this, during this season of trying to figure out, what to do with all this COVID stuff, we're still trying to maneuver all that as well.
Right. Okay, so be sure to go to the website, follow on social media, come to the store.
Yes.
Amazing coffee and ice cream, lots of great gifts. We're filming this shortly before Christmas, so lots of great gift ideas.
Yes.
The person receiving the gift will love it, but you're helping a good cause at the same time, so it's a win-win. One question I always like to ask is just what's on your radar right now? It can be leadership related or not. Just whether and it can be fun or it can be serious. Whether it's a book you're reading, someone you're listening to. What's on your radar that maybe we should also be thinking about?
That's tough. I guess for me right now, I'm thinking about the recent election, which I know is kind of taboo to discuss. But, I've been watching leaders that promise one thing and then maybe don't carry that out. I think we need more students who are honest, responsible, to start looking into entering the political arena. And so, for my own kids, I had them following the election, looking at what people say. We pulled out ballots, the little sample ballots a long time ahead of time. I just continued to reinforce the importance of, getting out and voting and how that's our responsibility, how in Africa and other places people stand in line for hours and hours and hours, to get to vote. I don't know. I feel like we need some leaders who are truly wanting to serve and have nothing else as part of their agenda, but just I want to make my country a good country. I want to do what's best for the people. So I don't know. That's kind of the most recent thing on my radar.
All right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. Obviously, we'll put links to Maji Hope, and hopefully you can check out what they're doing. You can support them, hopefully even stop by and purchase something in the store. So thank you so much, Lisa, and we'll see you next time.